All right, I'm here with the president of the North Andover Merchants Association and also the owner of the Blue Dog Pet Service Company, Chris Palermo. Chris, first of all, thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure. Anything I can do to help and get some of the word out there of what's going on in the business community, I definitely want to help out with that.
All right, cool. So, Chris, first things first, you mentioned the business community. So, just from the members of the Merchants Association and the general local businesses around North Andover, what has been the feel for them, obviously, during all these COVID-19 guidelines, and basically, what has been their opinions on this?
I think much like the general public, everyone's sort of anxious, a little uncertain of what the future holds, how long this is going to play out for, and what we need to do to react to it. It's really prioritizing, and I think that it's been a lot of things you see out there that keep using the word unprecedented. So a lot of people just aren't sure what to do right now. Everyone I talk to, we're kind of supporting each other and sharing with each other what we're doing with our businesses and just kind of taking measure of what's out there. It's interesting too, because I've talked to a lot of businesses, and of course some are closed because that was mandated by Governor Baker for all non-essential businesses closed. Others are busy because they can still keep their businesses going virtually, either online or their business is adaptable where they can still meet with clients and conduct business virtually. Other businesses never had the opportunity or were in the situation to do things in a virtual setting. So I have heard some of the technical challenges, much like us talking on Zoom, where we're all trying to make use of any of the tools out there and take into account making sure some of the hurdles such as security and privacy are also maintained. Others are closed, and we're kind of just in a holding pattern until we're able to open up again. And that creates a challenge in itself because the bills keep coming. We still have to make sure that we're keeping up with our vendors and keeping our invoices paid, but at the same time revenue has dropped off or completely gone away. So it's certainly a time of when a lot of people just aren't sure what to do, and we're looking for as much help out there as we can, and also trying to stay engaged with our clients for when this is all in our rearview mirror.
So for those businesses that have struggled, whether that's having to move to a virtual setting or whether that's just closing down in general, what are some of the resources that have been accessible for those businesses, and are they adequate in any sense?
So resources from the standpoint of stimulus, either from the federal government, state level, or even at the town level, there's definitely been a lot out there, and wading through all of that is a challenge on itself. I've been in a lot of meetings. I get emails every day with updates on what's going on with some of those programs. I've sat in on a lot of webinars, and the information is coming at you so fast, and sometimes it takes time to even digest and get through all of that information. There's a lot of programs out there. I know for my business, through the CARES Act, we have filed for the EIDL loan, the EIDL loan through the SBA, as well as the PPP loan for the payroll protection. And the town just rolled out their own COVID-19 small business relief grant. And I did apply for that as well. Mostly, that grant is for North Andover businesses so they're able to still hopefully pay their rent. So up to $3,000 for qualifying businesses. So I wanted to take a look at what the process was and what the requirements were for eligibility for that program, so I can make sure that our members know about that. I think that the programs came out really quick, and a lot of the lending institutions are trying to catch up to the government releasing these programs. So I know that it's been a little bit of a challenge for some businesses, even able to submit applications for some of these loans. The communication has been slow, understandably, because a lot of these institutions are just buried under a tidal wave of applications. So, again, this is unprecedented. So I know it's difficult, but a lot of the businesses, we do have to be patient, but at the same time, it's frustrating because, like I said before, for some businesses, they're holding on to a lifeline or looking at this as a lifeline so that they can, make sure that they don't default on any loans or payments.
Mm-hmm. Now, as the president of the Merchants Association, and you oversee over 80 businesses in town, what can you and the Merchants Association offer its members, and obviously, and like you said, an unprecedented time for small local businesses?
Yeah, so we do have our membership is getting closer to 100 members, and we're a small organization. We're localized just to North Andover. So we may not have some of the resources that some of the larger business organizations have, or a Chamber of Commerce, which has been very active in helping businesses and disseminating information and setting up their own programs. But for us, I think that what we can do is really localize our efforts into touching base with all of our members directly, trying to find out what they're doing. We set up very early on, we collaborated with the town, again, getting support here locally, a website to list all the businesses that were open, or what the status was of their business and what they were doing during the shutdowns. Trying to keep that in one place where residents and clients could go to find out what was happening with the businesses in town. We are also trying to make sure we're getting out all the information we can. And it's hard to, like I said, keep up with how the fast paced. It almost seems like moment to moment there is either a new regulation or something has changed. So getting that information out as fast as possible is important. And I know we've been sharing a lot of the information that Andrew Shapiro sends us from the town, as well as what's happening at the state and federal level. Even some of our committees are getting involved in helping out in the community. We have our Farmers Market Committee and our Artisan Market Committee, who are both using some of the resources that they have to make sure that the veterans in town are taken care of through our Veterans Food Initiative. Some of the funds from that were used to buy some gift cards from business establishments in town, and then make sure that those were getting given to those families in need, as well as our Artisan Market Committee has kind of spearheaded a program where they're working with local crafters and also people who have supplies that they're willing to donate, or even monetary donations, and helping those get into the hands of those people that need those. They've kind of broken up into teams of crafters, runners, and collectors of all these donations. So there's a lot to do right here in our community. I think by getting involved, we're hopefully keeping engagement with the residents in town, and kind of reminding them that the business community, we might not be as visible, and our stores might have a closed sign in front of them, but we're still here and we're still part of the community. The Front Steps Project, which has gained a lot of popularity on, you see it a lot on social media. We got involved with making a donation to that effort in the form of $500 in gift cards to our members who are still open, or their food establishments, so that those can be donated through the town to families who need that little extra help right now to put some food on the table for their families. And what's great about that kind of program was it offered an opportunity not only for our businesses to be a little more visible, because through the Front Steps Project, we had some businesses that had their picture taken in front of their business. Even if they were closed, like I said, it still is a touch point in a time when we're all, socially distant and staying home, and anything that we can do right now. Also sharing anything we can on social media. Again, there's a lot that businesses might be doing that clients just don't know about. So trying to share that through our Facebook and promote it as much as possible is something that we can do here on the ground. So it's the bit, like I said, the business community is still here, and I think making sure that we remind people that what we can do even when we're closed.
Mm-hmm.
And also to add to that, before moving on, I know some of the businesses, even though they're closed, are doing their best to help out and fill some gaps. I've heard of some of our members who are using their resources to make personal protection equipment for the medical field. I know Don Signtech had some materials that could be used to make face shields for doctors and nurses. And she was able to get that into the hands of another business that could make those. And I know Sogo Action, right in your building, has been making masks and respirators to donate and get out there. So, and I'm sure there's many businesses that are doing more, but there's a lot happening that we're part of.
Gotta love to see a real sense of town and pride and community from these local businesses for sure. And
yeah, definitely, and it makes you proud to be part of that. To see it happen, and kind of we see a lot that alone together, and I think that you're seeing it here in North Andover. That is definitely the spirit.
Mm-hmm. Now, Chris, and as a small business owner yourself, and obviously speaking, for the Merchants Association, I know you've outlined a couple of the things that the town and the federal government has done, whether it's the small business grant or whether it's the federal stimulus package. Basically, are the levels of government doing enough to help out the small businesses, or do you think they could be doing more in terms of support, for the businesses?
It's hard to say because I think a lot of us are stuck in the application process. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot that's been talked about, and I think until we start seeing some of that actually materialize, it's going to be hard to give some feedback on that. And it really depends on how long this goes for. I think not having an end in sight makes it hard for us as businesses to plan. I know my wife and I are big planners. We sit down, we make to-do lists, we schedule out what we're going to be doing. And right now it's like just a whole bunch of question marks out there. And so I think that the loans that are out there are good. I think grants and stimulus is going to be really what we need right now. It's hard to make a comparison, but there are some similarities to the gas crisis that happened in 2018, mm-hmm. where a lot of businesses in town were heavily impacted and had to shut down. But we had claim centers set up where people could go and file claims and get some help through the programs that were set up, and also the insurance that was in place that was the businesses were able to benefit from. In this case, it's not that simple. We don't have those kind of resources right now, but we really do. The businesses do need help. There's a lot of businesses I talk to, and even on some of the webinars that I've been part of, you can hear in people's voices that they're stressed out and trying to figure out what they're going to do for their business. And so I think that until we know if we're going to be taken care of, you're still going to get that sense of uncertainty. And with uncertainty, I think comes a level of anxiety. Mm-hmm. So I think that I guess to get back to your question on if I think that they're adequate, I think that there definitely could be more in the sense of right away help or the immediate help now. Mm-hmm. I think the town did a good job of pushing out this program very quickly with the resources that they had. So I think at the local level, we're seeing a very quick response. And I know that the government pushed out this program rather quick, and especially where lenders are trying to catch up to that. But I definitely think that if we don't see an injection of some help into some of these businesses, we're going to start to see some businesses closing their doors or trying to figure out what they need to do in order to survive.
Hmm. And that's a good point about that 2018 gas crisis. I mean, just and like this crisis, it was just totally unprecedented. It came out of nowhere, and just to see those businesses rebound, just basically the way they did, and obviously it can happen again with this, but it does show that North Andover, the community is as resilient as it can get, because they've done it
Well,
before.
what's great is, yeah, we have done it before, for sure, and I think also we have to keep in mind that once this is all over, we gotta get back to business, and what's going to be the permanent effect that this pandemic has on our society and the way we do business, and even the way people feel about going out again and being close to one another. I feel like it's going to take some time for people to kind of go back to normal in a sense, or even if we do. And when the governor finally does lift the restrictions of non-essential businesses being allowed to open again, what's that going to look like?
Hmm.
Um, how soon is it going to be before people walk into a store without feeling uneasy, or feeling like they don't need to wear rubber gloves or a mask? These kind of things have definitely a lasting effect. So I don't think that as soon as the restrictions are lifted, we're just going to see things spike right back to where they were. I think that's going to be a slow curve, and maybe we should start a new slogan of spike the curve when businesses go back, because we're going to need people, getting back to normal, and rather than you know uh, being too scared to get back out there. We definitely need to be safe, but once things are deemed safe, I think we need to look at what the government or even local or organizations like the Merchants Association can do to build consumer confidence and encourage people to get back out there and resume our regular habits.
Hmm. And now, Chris, lastly, you mentioned that new slogan, "Spike the curve," or or just try
I
to.
don't know. Let's not talk about that one too yet. I don't know if that's going to catch on in a good way.
All right. Well, you mentioned at least it's going to take some time to get back to normal. So right now, when we're dealing with all these non-essential businesses, basically, working under an umbrella, and people really trying to get a sense of of business in a sense, and just trying to just to obviously stay on their feet. What can the community of North Andover, the residents themselves, do to support these local businesses when obviously there's not a lot of business being done?
Yeah, of course. And I was thinking about this, and I know with my business, I can talk about it in two different ways. With my business, I know it's been great hearing from clients. We have a lot of regular reoccurring clients with my business, with training and dog walking, and I know a lot of our clients have been checking in and asking how we're doing and if there's anything that they can do. Just even telling us, we love you guys. We can't wait for you guys to be open again. It definitely is a boost throughout the day. Like I said, earlier, with the uncertainty comes a lot of anxiety, and just to get a little bit of that good feeling, kind of helps keep you going throughout the day. I think something that costs nothing, and where a lot of people are home and maybe have some extra time on their hands, I think going online and giving that business that you really like a review on Google or Yelp or Facebook. Those positive reviews can go a long way for when businesses are open again, and helping businesses gain maybe those new clients when things go back to normal, by having those online reviews. And also, checking in or keeping in touch with those businesses in the community, knowing what they are offering, maybe there is a way that we could support them that we might not know about. So I encourage people to either take a look at the listings that are online, go to the social media for some of those stores that you like to go to and find out what they are offering. Maybe buy a gift card or do something that that might just give them a little bit right now.
Mhm. Well, Chris, thank you very much. Very informative. Now, before we sign off, can you just tell people who are watching this, or businesses around North Andover, how they can get in contact with you and reach out for help should they need it?
Sure, through our Facebook page. We've been very active, so you can send us a message through Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, you can email the North Andover Merchants at gmail.org, or go to our website and fill out a contact us page. And then, those are easy ways to get in touch. One of the last things that we're doing, if there is a business out there that's seeing this and they're interested in joining, you can also join through our Facebook, our website. And for our current members, we are going to be extending memberships for any members that are their memberships would have expired in March or April. We're going to be extending their expiration date until the end of May, just to make sure that businesses don't feel like they need to renew on something right now, and that can wait till things are back to normal.
All right, Chris Palermo, president of the North Andover Merchants Association and the owner of Blue Dog Pet Service. Thank you very much for coming on, and enjoy the rest of your social distancing, I guess.
All right. Thanks. You too. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. Appreciate it.